Deathblade, 4 Stoneforge, 4 Deathrite Shaman, 2 Snapcaster Mage, 4 Bob, and 1 Vendilion Click. I expect we might see that number change a little bit in coming weeks once the legend makes it a little better.
Start playing more of those. Do you think people actually move up to like 4 of that card?
I think that as far as, if it's a valid sideboard strategy for your deck, then why would, it should probably be 4 in a lot of decks, unless the casting cost alone is your concern.
Okay.
Because you never would mind having an extra duress against decks like, Show and Tell or whatever.
That's for sure.
Vendilion Click is one of the best duresses there are.
So Fairfield's going to start here by sacrificing a Verdant Catacombs. We'll see him search out a basic swamp, white bordered for you old school players out there. This he's going to lead off with, because he is 1-drop creatures Deathrite Shaman, but he also has, again, all that discard in and Thoughtseize, Inquisition of Kozilek, and Cabal Therapy. So plenty of discard to cast, and he's going to lead off with Cabal Therapy. Is he a sniper?
In the dark, or he has perhaps seen Todd play. Well, I want to know what he named.
Yeah, I want to know what he names too.
With his kind of deck.
He names Brainstorm.
That's fair.
Yeah.
If I was playing against Todd Anderson, I would probably assume he had Brainstorm. I know he loves that card.
He likes a couple, there's 2 spectrums, right? There's either Brainstorm against Todd or Night of the Reliquary against Todd.
That's fair.
Which one do you want to name? Did you
I've
see
seen
Anderson's
him play both, in fact.
Yeah. Inquisition, Jace, Swords of Plowshares, 2 lands, and a Thoughtseize, and he's going to say, you make me discard, I'll make you discard.
Interesting. Dale did not opt to lead Deathrite Shaman here, perhaps hoping the Cabal Therapy would let him know if the Deathrite Shaman was safe. Todd can't take his opponent off both of these threats especially effectively, but he can decide which one he wants to let Dale spend the turn playing. Or he can take the removal spell, though I highly doubt that. He already has a Jace in his hand, he's pretty set up. Takes the Deathrite Shaman.
Is there any reason that you think he doesn't lead with Deathrite Shaman instead of, trying to snipe with a Cabal Therapy? I mean, I know there are some snipers out there with Cabal Therapy. Don't get me wrong. You're probably one of them.
I'm okay with it.
You can pat yourself on the back.
There are motivations to go ahead and play the Cabal Therapy. The biggest one, at least, I think, is say Todd just played Underground Scene past this turn, or a fetch land and pass, then Dale couldn't really fire the Cabal Therapy nearly as effectively because Todd would have access to a Brainstorm.
Okay.
So I think I would lead the Deathrite Shaman, but I can see some arguments.
Do you think his strategy, probably over the course of the weekend, has just been to lead with Therapy on Brainstorm because Brainstorm is so heavily played and it's probably a pain for his deck?
I hope not. I don't really like that strategy.
Okay.
Dale peeled a Dark Confidant, but Todd, obviously had that swords ready to take care of it. And now Dale's last card is a Cabal Therapy, naming the Jace he knows Todd has, and they've been reduced to a top-decking fight.
Now this is how Magic was meant to be played.
Yeah.
Oh, darn it.
Easy game. God, it's so easy. To be fair to Todd's deck, it's probably a lot better from these top-decking situations, as, his cards are, on the whole, probably more powerful. He has access to Stoneforge Mystics, Jace, they both have Dark Confidants. The other deck, what can it really threaten? You've got, Life from the Loom, Liliana,
Definitely
own
worst.
Bobs.
Yeah, probably worst top decks. Todd's Brainstorm actually wasn't very good there. I mean, he does get to clear things away, play a Deathrite Shaman, so that part of it's pretty good. But it could have been a lot worse if you're Dale there. So you have to be pretty happy as Todd's going to search out the Tropical Island to cast a Deathrite. Again, this Esper Deathblade deck is Abrupt Decay is going to take care of that, and it has just the 1 green mana to actually be able to gain life with the Tropical Island. That's always been okay. So he gets Todd's last card, gets a Wasteland, which actually isn't so bad.
Yeah,
and he's going to sacrifice the green source. I think if you're Dale, this is the kind of game that you want to be in, right? Mm-hmm. Where the resources are the cards are gone, the resources are gone, and this is where you want to be.
Now, note Dale just tossed his swamp rather than his forest.
You beat me.
Yeah, that locks him out of being able to cast a second Smallpox or Bloodghast. Yep. He'll just have to sit on those cards if he draws them until he finds another swamp. It's a minor decision, but it can definitely wind up factoring.
Draw, go. Todd plays an island. He says go.
I don't like playing the second, or I should say the third swamp, as when we draw a Bloodghast, we'd like to be able to, just probably play it and hold lands to get it back. Dale is just using up all those landfall triggers. Todd, especially with a Jitte in play now, a Bloodghast is significantly more vulnerable once Todd starts getting counters on it. Using fetch lands and land drops to actually wear out the Jitte is going to be a big deal.
Well, he's going to go search out the Dryad Arbor here, so he can get a little bit of beatdown going on.
Sure.
Ken Fairfield. I think if you're Fairfield, the card that you are just dying to draw right now is Liliana the Veil, nothing else. Dark Confidant's obviously very good. Timer Glyph is the body, but I think of the options, if he could pick a card to top deck, certainly if I could pick a card, I think I would want Lily on the Veil right now.
I would pick Sylvan Library, but that's a one-up.
I
would try and get real big.
All right. You win again, Glenn. Somehow you always do.
I think that's just a difference of opinion, you know?
Stoneforge Mystic off the top.
Well, Dale already has a Dryad Arbor in play, so he'll be able to flashback Cabal Therapy and get whatever Todd grabs. It's possible it's correct for Todd to fail to find, but maybe he feels like using his Batter Skull to kill a Dryad Arbor is okay too. Looking at Todd's list, he does not have access to Academy runs or anything like that, so if Dale Cabal Therapy is the Batter Skull, that's it for Batter Skull.
Yes, and we actually saw an Esper Stoneblade match earlier where the player, it was that Jim Davis' opponent, actually had access to Academy runs. So some lists have it, some lists don't. As you're going to see Dark Confidant come into play here. Can't attack with that Dryad Arbor. And he's going to flashback the Cabal Therapy, which we thought was going to happen. Yep. So there goes Batter Skull. And that means that's gone for good. And just leaving Anderson with a Force of Will.
Yeah, we should have probably done that before playing the Dark Confidant. Yeah, just in case Todd had, you know, an act, like if he had, you know, the any actual decision points, but maybe the card in hand that like already kills Dark Confidant better, or maybe he just wants to trade the Stoneforge Mystic. Either way, you know, just see what's going on first.
So Todd draws a Brainstorm, doesn't cast it, has access to Force of Will. Fairfield draws his card. We got 2 mana, we got Bloodghast, all right.
And we have a fetch land already in play. Dale, you know, rubbing his hands, he's like, all right, I'm ready to go.
Showtime.
You got to find a creature, Mr. Anderson.
Another Force of Will, and Todd happy to cast a Brainstorm. Now let's see what he finds. Dark Confidant, a couple of lands.
Do you throw back the forces or the lands? I think it's clearly between those cards.
Yeah, I want to put back the lands. I want to have a little bit of force protection just in case Dale peels something. The big thing is like you don't know what Dale's potential to peel is, so that's why I want to have the forces on this one turn because I don't know what he can draw. But Todd's going to play Dark Confidant, and he's going to just have 1 Forcible left in his hand, which, you know, in theory, he's leaving that 1 in his hand because he knows that Dale knows about it, in quotes.
I think that I would rather keep both forces for the reasons you lined up. Playing the Jitte, like being able to equip Jitte to Dark Confidant this turn is actually not that relevant. I guess it protects from things like maybe Dark Blast or whatever, but you know, Todd's not necessarily even sure Dale has that in his deck. We actually, you know, have the luxury of knowing he doesn't.
Here comes Bloody McG. All right.
Bloody McG.
I thought there was going to be. I thought we might see a block. Here's Deathrite Shaman.
Equipping is one of the motivations to block, but Todd declines.
Well, Todd is in a, we can disagree with his decision points maybe on that last turn as he's going to reveal Snapcaster Mage off of that Dark Confidant, draws a Tundra for the turn, but he's in the driver's seat now because he has active Jeet with an equipped creature, one that happens to draw him cards, and he's going to get in here with Dark Confidant, and now he can just clear the way of all these guys.
Yeah. Pumps to kill that Deathrite Shaman.
Up to 3 we go.
And I feel like this is a pretty comfortable race for Todd against Dale's Bloodghast.
Even has enough mana to even hardcast a Force of Will.
Yep.
You know, he can simply play that land, have the mana to hardcast a Force of Will, and access to Snapcaster Mage. Maybe he just holds the land. You know, he's going through the decision pattern right now, what he does want to do this particular turn. And he is just going to play Tundra and pass back.
That implies to me he's probably not planning a Snapcaster Mage Brainstorm.
Yeah. If you wanted to keep more cards in his hand.
Yeah, I think he's probably planning to reuse that Swords to Plowshares if the race could, you know, potentially change, or if Dale ever found a way to answer Jitte. Obviously, the card he's probably expecting Dale to have access to is Abrupt Decay. He's already seen a copy, so he can safely assume Dale runs more, given that, you know, this is Legacy and that's a removal spell that's pretty good.
You saw Anderson before combat, because he was at 10 life, Bloodghast would have haste, so he went up to 10, he went up to 12, and then Bloodghast can put him down to 10.
Yep, that was basically just a free roll, and he was wise to take it.
So here is Snapcaster Mage. Looks like Source of Plowshare is going to come to the party. Yep, going to take care of that Bloodghast for good. Give Dale a momentary life gain.
It's kind of odd. I feel like he would just Swords the one that was attacking you.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah, I guess that would make a little more sense. I mean, no reason to take the 2 points of damage. Not like either one can block anyway.
He's in a commanding spot here. Todd probably just, you know, keeping it to the end step and being real safe.
Here's another Dark Confidant. And of course, Todd can control his life total. Can't control the top card of his deck, but control his life total with the Umazawa. They can also control the Dark Confidants if he feels the need to actually have to be able to, for whatever reason, kill themselves.
He knows the most he can possibly take from the top of his deck is 5, so that's really just the magic number he needs to stay above.
And looks like Fairfield draws his card for the turn. Not sure if he wants to attack or not. See if anything good can actually come from said attack.
Well, I know that Bloodghast isn't big on D.
No, not a big fan.
Not a big fan.
Drives on the one-way highway. Anderson's going to find a Ponder. Second Dark Confidant trigger. What do you find? Flooded Strand to add to the Forcible in his hand. And let's add one more in the form of Vendilion Click.
Now, note that Todd was, carefully resolving those Dark Confidant triggers one at a time, because depending on what he'd reveal, he might want to gain some life before he goes to the second one. So if you guys at home, don't get in a hurry and just start bobbing yourself to death. Abrupt Decay targets the Jitte. Todd, considering whether he wants to, pump his Dark Confidant for some damage or just gain the life.
Yeah, with Dark Confidant in play, he might want to. He's trying to figure out how many turns the game is going to go. That's what you see
he's
him
doing some
right
clock
now.
calculations right now. He's like, well, I can attack for 6 for sure this turn. That'll put Dale to 11. That would mean he's on a 3-turn clock because I can't get in for any more. So you probably pump once and then gain the rest of the life. That's my guess as to what he did. So I would imagine Todd's going to 15 and attacking for 8 this turn. That puts Dale to exactly dead on the next turn.
We'll see if Todd's going to. Okay, he's going to cast a Ponder here.
We'll have to get an update on the life totals in a moment.
1, 2, and 3.
Looks like he pumped twice.
Okay. It's still going to leave him dead next turn. With 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 from Deathrite Shaman.
Yeah, he did not leave the correct mana up there, so he has to fetch to get his Deathrite Shaman on. Which now actually leaves him vulnerable, except that he has his green source still, right? Or did he lose that?
The green source is gone. Tropical Island is gone.
Okay. Tropical Island is gone. That means that Todd could die to an attack from Dale that goes unblocked.
Okay.
And then the top 2 cards of his deck being forcible.
No, we wanted to see it!
I mean, Todd was going to block, so.
All right, if you say so.
That Deathrite Shaman would not be hopping in the way fast enough.
Right. Anderson going to win game 1 against Fairfield. Deathblade against Green-Black Smallpox.
Take a look at the sideboards here. We'll go over Fairfield's first, as he is going to be on the play here. We've got 2 copies of Choke, 2 Engineered Plagues, an Abrupt Decay, a Nile Spellbound, a Crow's Grip, a Pithing Needle, an Echoing Decay, 2 Mindbreak Traps, 3 Surgical Extractions, and a Snaring Bridge. I think the first thing we're reaching for are the old Chokes here.
Yeah, Choke, a very strong card against more traditional Esper Stoneblade decks. They started even going to the lengths of playing things like Glacial Fortress in order to avoid getting caught by it.
See the Mystic Gate in my time or two.
Yeah, obviously Todd is not exactly needing to do that because he has 4 Deathrite Shaman. He can actually just get colored mana while under a Choke. It's very reasonable for him to do. So if he can protect those Deathrite Shamans, he'll be in a fine spot. Moving to his sideboard, he has access to a variety of cards, obviously being a Snapcaster Mage deck. I expect the ones he'll be most interested in are his 2 Surgical Extractions. Probably, I feel like he'll want Geist of St. Trapped as a good clock. It obviously lines up pretty badly against Liliana Veil and Smallpox, but Todd's deck has a lot of creatures, and Geist is like one of the faster ways he can win a game. So I kind of think he might want that. It'll race down any Bloodghast you've ever met. So that's kind of what I'd be interested in. I don't think he wants to go with things like, he has Disenchant, 2 Meddling Mages, a Path to Exile might be fine. I think that I would be okay with that. Thoughtseize is not great, and the 4th Forcible is certainly not where you want to be against such an attrition-based strategy.
I don't even know if you want any Forcibles.
Yeah, I would be boarding them out. In fact, Todd, he kind of jammed these forces into the deck. BBD did not play the main deck in his Invitational list, if you're familiar with that one. Todd put them in the deck, and it wasn't until he was, getting ready to turn his deck list in when Jerry picked up the deck, counted it, and said, "Todd, you have 12 blue cards." And Todd was like, "Oh. Whoops." And so that's how he got some of these weird numbers, like the Vendilion Click, the Ponder, which he has one of both of those cards, and he trimmed down to 2 Thoughtseize, 2 Inquisition, in order to try and hedge that. He's also only running the 3 Forces main deck, so that's kind of a little story. It's easy to forget the small things.
Yeah. I mean, we've seen Forcible be on a downtick over the past couple months in Legacy, which is a strange thing to say, actually, when, the Jund and the Bug decks got so popular and there these attrition-based strategies where you couldn't, really play Forcible. But it's very jarring to tell people, I'm playing blue and I don't have Forcible in my 60, or, it's just not, or in my 75 at all, or it's in my sideboard.
Yeah, if you talked to me in Dallas, I was talking with someone about Lauren Nolan's list, Tan and Grace among others, and his Esper Deathblade list, he also added the forces into the deck, and I really didn't like it. And the biggest reason is that the deck was built so that it sideboards in the forces when it wants it, and they usually come in with additional blue cards. So that in and of itself helps to saturate your deck with blue cards. Very important. The other issue is the blue cards that are already in the Esper Deathblade deck, they're like the best blue cards in the format. Snapcaster Mage, Jace, and Brainstorm.
I don't want to remove none of that.
Those are the only blue cards in like conventional Esper Deathblade decks. So yeah, you don't want to pitch those to Force of Will. You're okay doing it against combo decks. Like you don't mind pitching a Jace against a combo deck. You even won't mind pitching a Snapcaster Mage a lot of the time, depending on which kind of combo deck they are, because maybe you want to flashback an Inquisition, maybe you just want to not die to that Char Belcher.
How could you?
Kind of, those are your options.
But they'll just miss with the Belcher. It's no big. Just let it resolve. They'll just miss.
So I'm a big fan of forcing the sideboard of this deck. I don't really like it main, but Todd feels like, on the open series circuit, there's just too much combo to run around, without any pants, basically.
And to be fair, there's a healthy amount of combo in the room today, too.
He may very well have the last laugh.
Yeah, Chaz Hinkle is sitting at table 1 right now. We just had him on camera last round. He's 5-0 with Sneak and Show. Just to help, demonstrate that point, we had Ross Merriam, that Hinkle's opponent, playing Elf combo. So there are plenty of combo decks in this room. We've only seen a few on camera, but best believe they are here, and they're doing pretty well thus far.
Yep, I've seen a little bit of Storm at the top tables. I've also seen, mostly on one loss, a fair number of the Merfolk.
Oh, really?
Yeah, we got some fishies swimming around.
And Ben Lundquist probably pretty happy about that. Same with Joshua Cho. Is Joshua Cho one of our Merfolk
he
players
was.
Today?
I don't know if he is still treading water, as it were.
He might be swimming with the fishies.
He might be.
Yes! That's got to count for like 2 points, that joke.
Dale's on a mulligan 6 and leading the basic and the Deathred Shaman. He has 2 Wastelands. Well, that seems like where you want to be.
He's got a Smallpox, too. He's going to play his Anderson and Marsh Flats. He's going to dodge Wasteland for 1 turn. Engineered play. So what are we going to be naming with this? Spirit, maybe?
It's possible he assumes Todd is playing Lingering Souls, although Todd is not.
I actually kind of like a human name, too. It takes care of Dark Confidant, Snapcaster Mage.
The really awkward part about Engineered Plague as an answer to Lingering Souls is that Bloodghast, Spirit.
Yeah, it's a vampire spirit.
It is a vampire spirit, so I'm kind of curious as to what the Engineered Plagues are for.
Flavor, fail. Should that be a spirit?
I mean, I've always maintained no, but only because it's highly inconvenient for the decks I like to play.
Here comes Deathrite Shaman coming on in. Or is it? No, it's going to move a land. All right.
He's playing
Tarmogoyf's going to come in.
And now, Dale's in this kind of awkward spot because he has that Smallpox in his hand. He doesn't really want to play it and name anything. Or, sorry, play it and kill anything.
I don't
want to
lose any of those.
Yeah, his creatures are sweet. Todd doesn't even have one yet. And as much as he'd love to deny Todd's mana, that's not really his game plan right now.
I want to get full value with that Smallpox.
Yeah.
He's certainly in search of a card like a Bloodghast to be able to get maximum value. So Todd sacks a land and then a turn. Dale does a nice job of holding that other Wasteland in his hand. We're going to see a Brainstorm on the end step.
Todd hits 1 land. I am sure that's what he wanted. It looks like it was 2, an Inquisition, and 2 fetches. If you see the rest of Todd's hand, it obviously looks devoid of lands, but overfilled with Brainstorms.
Yeah.
Todd probably also pretty keen to blow a Brainstorm early because he saw Dale's, turn 1 in the dark Cabal Therapy on Brainstorm.
Yeah, it makes me want to cast one
yeah,
too.
That'll put the fear in you. You're like, oh god, I don't want to let that happen to me.
Yeah, Brainstorm in the dark. Some Dark Confidant, a couple of Brainstorms, a couple of lands, Inquisition as you said. Path to Exile it looks like as well.
Yep, he did bring that in. I like bringing that in. The Inquisition, Todd's probably, well, I guess I take one of these. Not overly excited about having removed the option to cast any of them.
I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if he just took the Engineered Plague here.
Yep.
Because I think, again, as you said, Smallpox not really advantageous here for Darryl, but he is going to take Smallpox. Okay.
I think Todd's a little, concerned. His hand is land light. He sees that extra Wasteland, and he only has 2 fetch lands left in his hand, so he'd be relying on one of his Brainstorms to find him mana. And there's every possibility Dale draws a Cabal Therapy and just strips him of those. So he's probably just trying to play around, winding up not being able to play Magic.
The Anderson sacrifice polluted Delta yet again. See if he's going to maybe search for a white source here. He is going to search for a Tundra.
He's probably just going to path that Tarmogoyf, get the clock off the table, slow this game down, let his full grip overtake Dale's mulligan, combined with, the fact that he's just down a few actual spells. Looks like we're draw stepping the path to exile.
Yeah, that's what it looks like. And Cabal Therapy is the draw step.
God, I'm so
what
good.
You can't see. What you can't see right now is Glenn's jazz hand celebration about knowing that Dale was going to draw a Cabal Therapy.
Yeah, Todd obviously is probably going to lose those 2 brainstorms. He might even lose something else depending on how interested Dale is in actually getting more of Todd's hand. I imagine it's the brainstorms he'll take. To be fair, we don't know that for sure, but
tell you what I would do. I'm taking out brainstorm. I hate that.
I
hate
vendetta.
that card.
Just a savage, angry vendetta.
I have no reason to hate it other than the fact that it's so good. I hate it though.
It's gonna go ahead and Wasteland Tundra. And
oh, no way.
We're casting Engineered Plague. Or do we think that that's a Cabal Therapy? No, we're okay.
No, he's actually going to cast Engineered Plague.
That's really
I'm
curious.
very surprised by this.
I'm eager to see what he names.
I think he's going to name Human with it, so that Dark Confidant's off.
Yeah, maybe he boarded out his Dark Confidants for Engineered Plagues, but that seems suspect at best. Dark Confidant's the best card in like both their decks.
Yeah.
Beyond after Deathrite Shaman, so. He named Wizard with his Engineered Plague. That will take care of Dark Confidant and Snapcaster Mage. I believe it takes care. It also takes care of the Vendilion Click. That's the sole difference between naming Human.
Okay, gotcha.
Yep. So savvy choice on Dale's part to name Wizard instead of Human. It is curious to see, Dale so aggressively Cabal Therapy in Game 1 on Brainstorm, and then
really
now
slowing down. Yeah, that's the same thing I think too. Swords is going to take care of this Deathrite Shaman. Dale, the thing is, if you're going to go about, if your deck is built with Mana Denial in mind, Brainstorm is one of the few cards outside of Perfect Draw Steps that allows the opponent to get out from your Mana Denial strategy of Wasteland and Smallpox and all these things. So by allowing your opponent to keep these Brainstorms, you're letting them actually just get out of trouble. Yep. Unless, they kind of get unlucky with their Brainstorm and Brainstorm lock themselves and just miss.
Dale names Jace, gets a hit. Nice play, nice play.
All right, Dale, finish off that Brainstorm with that other therapy, my man. At least that's what I want to do. I don't want him to go any deeper into his deck. Yeah,
I think that's correct. Obviously, we're seeing a board state that's actually going to favor Todd. With the Creeping Tar Pit, he'll only need 1 more land to turn it on, and Dale's already lost 2 Wastelands. So he'll be looking to peel a life from him or something like that to take care of that problem.
All right, so there goes the Brainstorm. Todd draws a card for the turn. It's a Swamp. There's your Tar Pit. Has to turn back. And we're going to play a little top deck Magic again.
Yeah, we already discussed how big of an edge Todd's deck actually has in this.
And that's why. Todd does a nice little fun hand motion.
It's really hard to draw Jace the Mind Sculptor when he's not in your deck.
That's accurate. That is accurate. And now, Glenn, this isn't the first time. I know you've been in the booth with me quite a few times. This isn't the first time we've seen Jace kind of take over a game.
Yeah.
Especially against a base green-black deck that does not have blue.
Notice Todd wisely putting the Swords to Plowshares on top of the deck as, Cabal Therapy is a thing. He doesn't want to give Dale any free looks. Mm-hmm. He's going to make him actually have it. Dale, I think I saw an Echoing Decay also
that
in his
is
hand,
the card that you did see. It takes care of the Dark Confidants, take care of the Stoneforge Mystics and a couple other cards, so I can see a reason to bring that in. But
also, a reasonable answer to Lingering Souls if that's a card, again, that he is fearing. Yeah.
And here is a Stoneforge Mystic that can get Echoing Decay. The problem here is that Stoneforge Mystic does not care about Echoing Decay, or a lot of things, to be fair.
Nope. It only wants blood.
Yes. Always, always, always. This Stoneforge Mystic is going to search for the old Batter Skull. You see Fairfield's going to sacrifice the fetch land here on the end step. He's going to search out the old Dryad Arbor. Looks like he might try to start to at least go to work a little bit on this Chase the Mind Sculptor.
Yeah. Fairfield does not have access to things of equipment, I should say, of his own to make these small creatures a lot more dangerous and more impressive. Well, he's in a weird spot now. He's going to attack the Jace. Todd's going to block, and now he's going to Smallpox. This is pretty awkward. Todd could choose to activate Creeping Tar Pit to save his Stoneforge Mystic, and depending on how Smallpox resolves it, I'm trying to think how if Dale would have had to sacrifice creature land first for the Dryad Arbor. He may be losing an extra land with the way he sequenced his plays now.
So let's take
we can go ahead and bring Smallpox up on the screen if we can get that one.
Let's take a look and bring Smallpox up on the screen so you can see the order, because there are some cards like this that the order you actually do it in the order that the card says, like a Cruel Ultimatum, like a Death Cloud.
Not in Smallpox's case. You sacrifice the creature first and then the land.
Okay.
So he had to lose the Dryad Arbor and then the land in that specific order. So.
Okay.
One of the more interesting little hang-em-ups that can come around with these sacrifice things in order cards. I imagine we'll be seeing, some even more strange occurrences like that with Fuse, which operates very similarly.
Yeah, sure.
Reading from left to right on a card. You can get some weird happenings.
Now here's Batterskull. There's your Germ token. Mike Flores in the house.
Dale definitely needs a lot to go right for him in a row.
Yeah,
this was a start.
Jace is a start, yeah. I'll give you that one.
Pithy Needle and Jace for starters. Needs a way to handle the Batterskull. He has access to Corrosion Grip. He has one of those in his sideboard. It's possible he could draw a Life from the Loam and peel his way out that way. Just Wasteland Lock Todd once he takes care of the Creeping Tarpit and draws Corrosion Grip for the Batterskull. But at this point, we're taking too much damage, I think, to peel lands and spells in the correct order.
Well,
we're stuck.
You only get to draw one card a turn.
Yeah.
Unfortunately.
Haven't changed that lately.
Maybe the new rules update.
Yeah, maybe the next one. Todd, you can see draws Geist Saint Trapped. We surmised he would likely bring that in to generate a clock, and he did.
So coming across for 4, put Fairfield down to 7. Gonna cast that Ghost with the most and pass it back. Fairfield's going to draw a card. He's going to extend the hand. So Todd Anderson's going to move on to 5-1 with the Esper Deathblade deck. Dale Fairfield and his green-black smallpox deck just has a little bit too much trouble against Jace the Mind Sculptor. And, the Deathblade deck is really just a deck that top stacks better in the situation that Dale actually wants to get into. Yeah.
The other issue, I think, is that Dale's deck, in the main deck, it's pretty linear. It's centered on this, resource attrition denial strategy. When he changed his deck in sideboarding, he brought in a lot of reactive cards, like things like Echo Decay, Engineer Plague, things that solve problems rather than create them.
Yeah.
So that really gave the initiative to Todd, because Todd's deck's way better at creating problems.
Yes, yeah, a ton
problems
better.
are big. Yeah. Batterskull, Jace. Ooh.
And I don't think that Dale's deck can afford to be a reactive deck when being a reactive deck without very much card drawing and manipulation or anything like that. Brainstorm, for example, you can't really react the way that you want to. You just get to react with the cards that you draw. If you draw them in the wrong order, you're out of luck. Yeah,
and that's especially true if his sideboard plan involved boarding out Dark Confidant, because that's his sole form of true card advantage outside of Life from the Loam.
Yeah. So that's the way it goes. Again, Esper Deathblade is a deck that we saw debut at the Atlanta Invitational. Brian Baranduan making the top 4 before eventually losing to Jerry Thompson in a very, very good match, actually. And I think that, this moving forward, especially with Lauren Nolan's win 2 weeks ago, in Nashville, pretty much putting this deck on the map, and I don't think it's going anywhere. I think it's kind of the natural evolution to just the Esper Stoneblade decks now.
Lauren's win was a mirror in the finals, if I'm not mistaken.
Against Jack Fogel.
Yeah.
Who's experienced a ton of success as well.
You want to know a good barometer for this deck versus Esper Stoneblade?
What's that?
Ben Friedman.
Okay.
Well known for commitment to Stoneblade.
Yeah,
he's been playing that
played
deck.
The same deck for
I don't think I've ever seen him play a legacy deck that wasn't Esper Stoneblade. He is playing Esper Deathblade today.
Wow.
So, take that for what you will.
That's actually pretty telling, yeah. Because he's been, as you said, he's been playing the actual same deck for, we're looking at like 2 calendar years now, honestly, of just Stoneforge Mystic all day, every day for Mr. Friedman. So he's made the addition of Deathrite Shaman as well. So I feel like this deck is pretty much the real deal. I wish you could play another green source. It just has the one Tropical Island to search for, so you can gain more life. But, I mean, it's a bird of paradise with all upside.
Yeah.
So.
That's what makes the card, so fair and balanced. Is that it's a black and green card better than every green mana producer ever printed.
Yeah, I don't want to get this started. And last time AJ tried to rile me up, we had to go off air. Ooh. So I know, he tried to get into me. As our next matchup here, we're gonna see Gerard Fabiano. He's got this same deck.
Yep.
Little twist, but Esper Deathblade. So all your big names are playing this deck here. They like the power level. They like the flexibility. They like to be able to find all of their answers here with Brainstorm and Jace the Mind Sculptor, Deathrite Shaman, Dark Confidant, Stoneforge. He's up against
Meru Benot, who's playing Maverick.
Ooh, Maverick, okay.
Yeah, Maverick actually experienced some recent success at the Bazaar of Moxon over in Europe.
Absolutely.
That was very different, though. It wasn't running Green Sun Zeniths. It had Weathered Wayfarer and Aether Vial to see change up its ability to get Wasteland locks going early. Meru's list is much more traditional. In fact, I can't see anything about it that seems particularly odd or strange. He's got 4 Noble Heart, 4 Mom, 4 Thalia, 4 Knight, 2 Scavenging Ooze, 2 Pride Mage, a Scrib Ranger, a Teague, 1 Stoneforge Mystic, 1 Fauna Shaman. So he's got a little Green Sun Zenith package there. He is running 2 Jitte. Also,